right, so before we begin this new race review, I just wanna make a little bit of a disclaimer. After the Iowa Cup race review, after I finished streaming, I just realized that I forgot to give my letter grade to the Iowa Cup race. I'm giving it an A minus. Okay, I just wanted to clear that up. I rewatched the stream and I realized that I forgot to give it a letter grade. So, and besides, I just put a little disclaimer there in the description, like a little edit there that I forgot, and I was giving that Cup race an A minus. So there you go. Just in case you wanted to hear it from me, there you go. So now let's move on with that out of the way. Let's move on to the Xfinity race that happened yesterday at New Hampshire. And with all the promo that NBC has given Nashville and the Chicago Street Course as part of their summer of NASCAR coverage, we almost forgot New Hampshire was this week, which is honestly kind of sad. I don't hate New Hampshire as much as other people do, but even I have to admit, it can be a bit forgettable at times. Northeastern NASCAR fans will disagree with you, though, saying that New Hampshire is a modified crown jewel, though. And this is the main reason why it has stayed in the schedule for this long, is because of the prestige that it has as a modified crown jewel, and how, it's one of the few places outside of Watkins Glen that NASCAR has a presence in the Northeast. Unfortunately, this weekend didn't get off to a good start. As a matter of fact, it started much, much worse than last week, as the rain forced both qualifying for Xfinity and the Cup Series to be cancelled. For the Xfinity Series in particular, there was no practice either. The Cup Series, they managed to have their own practice session, but this meant that the lineup will be set by the metric formula for the second straight week. So Cole Custer sat on the pole this time around, with Chandler Smith second, then Sam Mayer third, last week's winner, with Riley Herbst fourth, then Sheldon Creed fifth, Sammy Smith sixth, Corey Heim, Parker Kligerman, Ryan Sieg, and Matt DiBenedetto rounding out the top 10. Then Anthony Alfredo 11th, Justin Algaro will start 12th, Austin Hill 13th, Leland Honeyman 14th, and then moving down through the field, Ryan Ellis 16th, Kyle Sieg 19th, AJ Allmendinger 22nd, Christopher Bell 23rd. He is back in the Xfinity Series, running the 20 car for JGR. Then Justin Bunk Sr. in 25th. Speaking of modified drivers, we got one making his Xfinity debut, running the 19 car for JGR. He won the modified race. Earlier on that Saturday. On Saturday, so the morning before the race. So, Nathan Bird 26, running the DGM 92 car. He's also making the start. Bangis Bergen qualified 28th, Brandon Jones 29th, Haley Deegan 30th, Mason Massey 31st, running the 14 car for SS Greenlight. Then Glenn Green 35th, back in the 35, making his second start of the year after making his debut last week at Iowa. Then Armani Williams 36, running the 6 car for JD Motorsports. Alex Bowman 37th, running the 17 car for Hendrick Motorsports. And finally, Carson Kvapil. He would line up in last place back in the JRM 88 car. Only one driver failed to qualify due to qualifying being cancelled, had to be sent home. Jake Buford in the Mike Harmon Racing 74 car. And only one car was sent to the rear. That was Parker Retzlaff for unapproved adjustments. He will also do a pass-through at the start of the race. So, with the damp conditions and due to the fact that New Hampshire has no lights, the decision was made to start the race 30 minutes early, a fact which I was unaware of. If you watch my live stream of the my Cup race review of Iowa, you would know that I was caught a bit off guard by this, and I didn't realize that I failed to plan ahead, and because of that, by the time I had finished wrapping up the stream of that race, stage 1 was almost finished. So you managed to get me some reactions of what was going on, because I had the stream on mute at that time. But yeah, the decision was made early this morning to start the race 30 minutes early and with the wet weather tires. So this will be the first time the Xfinity Series would try those out on an oval, as they have already been tried out in both the Cup and the Truck Series before. So we go to stage 1 now. The race begins. Cole Custer pulls away to an early lead as Chandler Smith, he starts to immediately drop like a rock. Matt DiBenedetto also with a slow start after not being able to get into gear. By the time the competition caution comes out on lap 12, due to NASCAR deeming the track dry enough to the point that they can give teams a chance to put the slicks back on, Chandler Smith had fallen back to 18th. And I'm gonna say this now. Was it really necessary to throw a caution for that? Like, I get it. Just let the teams decide when to put the slicks. Like, I get it. You wanted to give the teams a chance to put the slicks on, but just let the teams decide on their own, you know? No need to throw a caution for that. Like, Formula 1 does it with rain races, so why not give NASCAR teams the freedom to do just that? As to, you know, to implement it as part of the strategy. It would have allowed for strategy, and it would have also spiced up the racing a little bit at this track, so... a little bit disappointed that NASCAR, you know, they're not giving these teams enough freedom, enough freedom when it comes to stuff like that. But something that I would just like to see being explored in the future. So we go to pit road. Everyone pits to put the slicks back on. Cole Custer wins the race of pit road, and Carson Cavapel and Josh Williams, or rather Armani Williams, they have slow stops as they have to back up after sliding through their pit stalls. So we go to the restart, and Austin Hill, he gets the jump on Cole Custer this time around, taking the lead away from the double zero for 2 laps, and then Custer comes back and retakes the lead from the 21 just 2 laps later. We got another caution that came out for Emmerling stalled out in turn 2, so this was a pretty short green flag run, less than 10 laps. And on pit road, we see some strategy, with some of the leaders deciding to stay out, with Allgaier, Bonsignor, Brandon Jones, SVG, Alfredo, Matty D, Retzlaff, and a few others pitting. So we go to the restart again. Cole Custer holds the lead. Austin Hill has a poor restart this time, though. He drops down to 4th. But again, another short green flag run as another caution quickly comes out. Kligerman spins in turns 1 and 2 after contact with Allmendinger. And then we go to pit road again, and this time the front runners decide to pit. Not all of them. Cole Custer, Christopher Bell, Corey Heim, Sheldon Creed, Jesse Love, Austin Hill, Josh Williams, Chandler Smith, and also a few others pit. It was a bigger group than the guys that pitted in the previous caution, but not all of them did. So we go to the next restart. This time is 6 to go in stage 1. Sammy Smith and Alex Bowman are in the front row, but Sam Mayer, who restarted behind them, he makes quick work of them to take the lead and win stage 1. Sammy Smith finished the stage in 2nd, managing to hold off Riley Herbst for 2nd. So Herbst, he has to settle for 3rd. Allmendinger 4th, Justin Allgaier 5th, Alex Bowman, Carson Cavapel, Ryan Sieg, Jeff Burton, and Justin Bonsignor rounds out the top 10. So, this time the leaders pit on pit road, because some of them have stayed out for the entirety of the stage. Allgaier wins the race of pit road after he makes a quick stop for his team to check something underneath the car. They didn't even put fuel on his car. They just, quick stop and go right there just for the team to check something. Because if you remember, he got pitted during the Patrick Emmerling caution, which was the second caution of the race. So he was good on fuel and tires for now. Riley Herbst has another slow stop, and he drops then down to 7th. Retzlaff gains a couple spots as well. So we go to stage 2. Christopher Bell leads this time, with Justin Bonsignor holding strong in 2nd, as the JDR Toyotas, they start to slowly take over this race. At this point, they were running 1, 2, 3, 6, with Sheldon Creed 3rd and Chandler Smith 6th. With Corey Heim, Sam Hunt Racing's Corey Heim in 4th. So the Toyotas were running, they had 5 Toyotas in the top 6. And then you had Cole Custer in 5th. There was a restart violation on this restart. It was 92 of Nathan Bird. But other than that, the stage went green all the way. It was a pretty quick stage 2. A stark contrast to the 4 cautions that we had in stage 1. So Christopher Bell, he pulled away to a 3.5 second lead over Bonsignor and wins stage 2. 19 car of Bonsignor settles for 2nd. Cole Custer 3rd. Sheldon Creed 4th. Chandler Smith in 5th. So you had all 4 Joe Gibbs Racing cars in the top 5. Then Justin Allgaier 6th. Corey Heim 7th. So with Corey Heim, the 5th Toyota, he finished 7th. So you had the 5 Toyotas in the top 7. And then Brandon Jones, Austin Hill, and Parker Kligerman running out the top 10. We go to pit road once again. The leaders pit, and this time Cole Custer, he wins the race of pit road over Christopher Bell and Chandler Smith. Sheldon Creed stays 4th, and Bonsignor drops to 5th. So, coming off of pit stops, you have Cole Custer back in the lead, with the JGR cars 2, 3, 4, 5 behind him. And Justin Allgaier with a slow stop, terribly executed. Allgaier first slid through his box. He was lucky not to get a penalty. He was like inches away from getting a penalty. Could have been centimeters actually, but who the hell uses the metric system in the metric system in the freaking US of A? So he slid through his box, and then the pit crew was slow on changing the left side tires. So Allgaier fell all the way back to 24th when he entered pit road in 6th. So we go to stage 3. Cole Custer, he is able to clear ahead of the 4 JGR cars after Christopher Bell goes for a slide in turn 3, and he loses second to Chandler Smith in the process. Then we have another caution. This time it's Josh Williams, who spins up of turn 4. He had just gotten the free pass too. And then under caution, okay, not really. Okay, so it wasn't really Josh Williams. It was Armani Williams. I'm just getting my Williams confused here. It was Armani Williams who spun up of turn 4, and he had just gotten the free pass too. And then under caution, Leland Honeyman also spins out in turns 3 and 4. I believe he had a mechanical failure because his car was shaking after that, but he didn't come back after this. He unfortunately ended up having a DNF. So we go to the restart. Cole Custer continues to lead as Corey Heim moves back up to 6. To make it a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Toyota, behind the 00, the lone 00 of Ford. And remember, Ford has not won an Xfinity or truck race yet. They have 3 wins in the Cup Series. If you count the All-Star race, that's 4. But in Xfinity and trucks combined, they have 0 wins. So once again, this green flag run goes pretty long, which eventually leads into green flag pit stops on lap 142. The cycle starts with Ryan Sieg, but it's quite a couple laps before the next of the leaders decide to come down pit road, mainly because they don't want to get caught on the wrong end of a caution. But eventually Bell comes down pit road on lap 50, and this does force the hand of the leaders, forcing all of them to come down. Bonsignor, Herbst, Sammy Smith, Corey Heim, Austin Hill. Bonsignor had a big slide entering his pit stall. Again, he was very lucky not to get a penalty. I was pretty sure he had gotten, he was going to be penalized, but he didn't. But he lost a lot of ground because of that slide. This eventually brings the leader Cole Custer down pit road just 1 lap later, bringing Chandler Smith with them, as well as most of the field as well. Allgaier, Allmendinger, Sheldon Creed, Jesse Love, Parker Kligerman, Sam Mayer, Shane Van Gisbergen, Matty Benedetto. This gives the lead over to Carson Kvapil, who has yet to pit, along with Brandon Jones, Alex Bowman, Kyle Weatherman, Anthony Alfredo, Parker Retzlaff, and Josh Williams. All of these guys decide to stay out for as long as they can until they're forced to pit for fuel until a caution comes out. The caution never comes out, at least not when they wanted it though. So this forces them to eventually pit. Josh Williams is the first to bite, followed by Bowman, then Retzlaff, Weatherman, Jones, Alfredo, and finally the leader Kvapil. Unfortunately for Bowman, he also got hit with an uncontrolled tire penalty as well. And so this completes the pit cycle, with Cole Custer back in the lead, Christopher Bell second, and Chandler Smith in third. And I kid you not, just as the pit cycle is completed, the caution comes out for Armani Williams spinning again, this time on the backstretch. You just cannot make this up for Carson Kvapil and the other guys who pitted. Just terrible timing that just after the pit cycle is completed, a caution comes out. Or at least that's what it would have looked like if the leaders didn't decide to pit again, allowing for Kvapil to stay out along with Jesse Love. Everyone else on the lead lap, they pit for 4 tires, with Kligerman taking 2 tires. So we go to the restart, and Cole Custer, he takes the 88 and the 2 3 wide. He manages to pass the 2 for second after Jesse Love just has a bad restart, with Kvapil retaking the lead because Jesse Love was scored as the leader. When the restart flew, he was a control car. So now Kvapil has to be tasked with holding up the 00 for the last 20-something laps. But then another caution comes out, because right behind them, Sheldon Creed and Chandler Smith, they make contact, entering turn 3 while fighting for 5th. The 81 spins, but fortunately doesn't hit anything. He just goes for a slide. but this lines up the field for another restart. And with the field bunched up again, this leads into another caution. This time it's Bugsy Muir who gets spun out by Sammy Smith, sparking a chain reaction that collects several cars. Sam Mayer, SVG, Alex Bowman, Austin Hill, Cal Weatherman. No one is with major damage. They are all able to continue. Only Austin Hill comes out of it with a major left front tire rub. But again, this leads into yet another restart. And this time, Kvapil has a bad restart and he gets shuffled out, dropping back to 5th, while Cole Custer retakes the lead. But of course, it's not over yet, as we have yet another caution. This time it's Hailie Deegan setting it into turn 3 and straight up cleaning out the 92 of Nathan Bird. And at this point I was just like, can we just end this race now? It's been like 3 consecutive cautions now. So at this point it's cautions breed cautions. 6 laps to go, the next restart. At this time, Christopher Bell has a great restart after Custer kind of stalled out in turn 2, and he is able to get even with them. And it looked like it would be a race for the win between the 00 and the 20 when another caution came out for Mason Massey spinning after getting turned. Also, Ryan Ellis with some damage came out of it with some damage too. The door foam on the right side of his 43 car was missing. Again, the replay was inconclusive. I don't know. The replay showed the 14 being spun out by someone, but I don't know if it was Ryan Ellis or if he was spun by somebody else. But anyways, this takes the race. This takes us into overtime, the 8th overtime in 16 Xfinity races. I kid you not, 50%. For as great as the Xfinity series has been this season, 8 of the 16 races so far this year have ended in overtime. Like, what's up with that? But anyways, Cole Custer, he has a great launch, but behind him, Sheldon Creed, he makes it up to 2nd by passing Christopher Bell. And you guys already know how this is going to end. Sheldon Creed gets into Cole Custer up of turn 4, sending him up the track a little bit, allowing for Bell to take a 3 wide on the start-finish line. And then entering turn 1, it looks like Creed, he has a preferred middle lane. He has a clear. He has a great he is primed to have a great corner exit and possibly clear Christopher Bell, until Cole Custer comes right back and pays Creed back for the bump, and also for the running they had on the last lap last year on this same track. Yeah, I have not forgotten about that. So what Cole Custer was trying to do was pretty clear. He was trying to send a message. I may not win this race, but you're not winning it either. You know, some people are going to say that Custer, you know, he took away a potential win for Sheldon Creed, but that's fair give and take. Like, Sheldon Creed, he drives aggressively in this when it comes to like race, make a pass for the lead, he tends to get really aggressively. He tends to drive pretty aggressively. He's like all give, no take. So what Custer did was pretty fair, honestly. And just like that, Christopher Bell ends up the biggest beneficiary of all of this, stealing the win away from Cole Custer to go 4-4-4 at New Hampshire in the Xfinity Series. And this is also the 4th win for the 20 car at JGR this season, with 4 different drivers. You know, John Hunter Nemechek, then Aric Almirola, Ryan Truex, and now it's Christopher Bell. So he becomes the 4th different driver to win the 20 car. Man, this is a day of the 4s. The number 4, that is. Not Ford, the manufacturer. Those guys are still winless in Xfinity so far this season. They are 0-4-16 now. But yeah, let's go over the notable finishers here. Sheldon Creed finishes 2nd. This is his 10th career runner-up in the finish in the Xfinity Series. He ties the record with Dale Jarrett and Daniel Hemrick for most runner-up finishes in the Xfinity Series before winning your first career race. I swear, this guy just finds new ways to lose a race at this point, and it's becoming a pattern now. I am starting to see what's wrong with Sheldon Creed. Every time he puts himself in a position to win a race, or to be more specific, make a race-winning move, instead of being patient, he just goes for it. Like, when it comes to making a pass for the lead, this guy, he races like it's the last lap, and this is exactly why he can't get things done, because he either ends up wrecking the other guy out of the lead, wrecking himself out of the lead, wrecking both of them out of the lead, or he ends up burning his stuff way too much, and the guy eventually comes back and retakes the lead away from him. Or pulls away from him, or he's unable to complete the pass. You get what I mean. At least Daniel Hemric, and I had to make this comparison because not only Daniel Hemric had also 10 runner-up finishes in Xfinity before scoring his one and only career win so far, but also because Daniel Hemric was the predecessor, was the last full-time driver of that 18 car before Sheldon Creed came up. At least Daniel Hemric waited until the last lap when he made the move that won him his one and only race as well as his championship with JGR. Just saying, Sheldon Creed, when he's close to making a pass for the lead, it doesn't matter if it's lap 1 or the last lap of the race, he's just gonna go for it. For him, Sheldon Creed races like it's the last lap of the race when it's time to make a pass for the lead, and it almost always ends to his own detriment. And that, my friends, is what, in my opinion, Sheldon Creed cannot get it done. He's just way too aggressive. Thanks for coming to my tech talk. But anyways, Cole Custer finishes 3rd. Again, guy's still winless, but still the points leader. Allgaier 4th. Great recovery from him after, several miscues on pit road. Terrible execution. Finishes 4th. Carson Kvapil 5th. 3rd top 5 finish in just his 4th start. Continuing to impress. JR Motorsports, give him a full-time ride, yada yada yada. You get the gist of it. Ryan Siegel 6th, Parker Kligerman 7th, Riley Herbst, Alex Bowman, and Corey Heim round out the top 10. Then Allmendinger finished 11th, Chandler Smith 15th after spinning out after his late spin. Then Brennan Poole 16th. Jeff Burton, he finished 17th. Matt DiBenedetto had originally finished 17th, but he was disqualified after they found his car had at least 3 loose lock nuts, so he will be credited with the last place finish. Because according to NASCAR rules, if you have 3 or more loose lock nuts out of the 20 lock nuts that you have total, you are automatically disqualified. Yeah, some people may not agree with that rule, but honestly, I don't have a problem with that. It's a safety measure, honestly. So he will be credited with the last place finish, unfortunately, while everyone who finished behind him moves up a spot. So Jeff Burton, he had originally finished 18th, but due to the disqualification, he moves up to 17th. Shane Van Gisbergen, he had originally finished 19th, moves up to 18th. Sam Mayer 19th. Bong Senior officially finishes 22nd. His finishing result won't tell the whole story, though he was right up there in the top 5 for about half the race, fighting with all of his JGR teammates. He definitely impressed. Josh Williams 23rd, Austin Hill 24th, Glenn Green 28th, Haley Deegan 32nd, Armani Williams 33rd, Nathan Bird 36th, Leland Honeyman 37th, and finally Matt DiBenedetto in 38th. It's just unfortunate for this to happen to him in a race that he had originally finished top 20 in. But yeah, the race overall was decent, but it could have been better. Again, I will stand by my take that NASCAR should have let teams decide when to switch to the slick tires on their own. I have no problem with NASCAR mandating teams to start on the wet weather tires, but there was no need to throw a competition caution to give teams the opportunity to switch back to the slicks. Like, let them make that decision on their own. Make it part of their strategy. The late cautions, they definitely spice this race up. This race up a bit, though. And come on, who doesn't love it when they go 3-1 the last lap of the race? So again, bad move on NASCAR for not promoting New Hampshire as much as they do with Nashville and Chicago. A lot of people really thought that New Hampshire was gonna be the race after Chicago, but no, it's the race before Nashville and Chicago. But yeah, bad move on NASCAR for not promoting this race. This track is kind of like Gateway, not only in how similar you run it, but also in that it sometimes produces better racing than it's supposed to. I mean, look at that race for the win between Custer, Creed, and Bell. They went 3 wide there. Like, who doesn't love that? But yeah, guess we're just gonna go for the Cup race now. 30 minutes before the Cup race begins. Yeah, let's see what the Cup race has in store for us. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna wrap this stream up and eat my bacon sandwich, because before somebody else eats it. Okay, see ya.